Fooled my cheating soon-to-be ex-wife into thinking I was cheating, then ghosted her. Part 3. She tells me she's worried I'm pushing her away because I was resentful of how she treated me the months I was rehabbing my knee. And then came the punchline. She effing asked if I was cheating on her. Folks, I fell out on the floor laughing hysterically. And when I say hysterically I mean Joker laughing gas hysterical. On the surface it must have looked like it was me laughing off the notion of being unfaithful, but it was of course actually me laughing at the sheer irony of what was happening in front of my eyes. I'm tearing up, pounding on the floor in complete hysterics for a good 2 minutes before I compose myself enough to answer. I sit up and look her in the eyes for the first time in months, shaking my head, but I don't give her an answer. I stand up, brush myself off, kiss the top of her head and go about settling in for the night. Later that night, as I'm in my office I decide, you know what? Given the brevity of what happened, I wanted to see what she was telling him. So I fire up the app and sure enough they're actually texting in real time. She tells the guy, I know he's cheating on me. I asked him tonight and he literally laughed in my face. He fell on the floor and laughed for like 5 minutes. He doesn't even care how I feel anymore. I don't know how or why, but he's gone. I know I've lost him. This is karma, I know it. The smile I had on my face reading that. She was breaking. He attempted to console her, saying that if I cared enough for her, she wouldn't have had come to him to give her what I wasn't giving her. But the tone of her responses told me she was having doubt now. She had the nerve to step out of our marriage because I was unable to fulfill my role as a husband due to legitimate injury, and kept the affair going for at that point nearly an entire year. But the idea of her losing me to another woman was enough to make her waver? What an effing weakling. Now, during all of this I was also exacting the second part of my plan for payback, getting all of my affairs in order financially. In September, I had met with a family attorney to get the ball rolling on divorce paper. With the mountain of evidence I'd piled up to that point, New York is an at-fault state as far as divorce. And the overwhelming amount of proof I'd gathered displaying my wife's infidelity pretty much solidified I could nail her to the effing wall in a divorce case. My lawyer instructed me to get all of my financials in order in preparation for whatever division of assets might come as a result. I went one better than that, secretly pulling all of my money out of our joint account and putting it in my personal account. I also started shopping around for an apartment as part of phase 2. We're now in November, and I've not changed my behavior. In fact, I've ramped it up. This is where my other friend Nina comes into play. For context, Nina and my wife have never been what you call close. I met Nina freshman year of high school 2 years before I met my wife. Even way back then, my wife has seen Nina as a threat, as she's my closest female friend. There's always been an implied I don't trust her from wife regarding Nina. She's never addressed it directly, but it's obvious to anyone who pays attention. Conversely, Nina's never been a big fan of my wife. Early in our relationship, basically there's a kind of bad blood between the two. Nina had been stuck overseas due to the virus, and finally returned to NYC November 3rd. Our group of friends decided to throw her a welcome back party at one of my friends' house. Nina, being the evil mastermind she is, comes up with an evil idea to trigger my wife. She suggested we take some photos in the same vein of the photos I discovered of her and the guy she's cheating on me with months prior, and post them to my Facebook, and that's just what we did. It wasn't until the 5th that my wife got wind of it, as I'm guessing a few friends noticed my updates and saw how uncomfortably close I was with Nina. This really effed her mind up, because she still believed I was cheating, and I can almost guarantee she wanted to accuse Nina. But she knew that Nina had been stuck in Europe for the majority of the year. Still didn't stop her from attempting to dress me down that night for being so, as she said, handsy in the pics. I saw this as a golden opportunity to deliver the lead jab for my knockout blow. I say, so what about the pics with you and the dude from last year? He was pretty handsy in them, but did you see me get bent out of shape over it? Deer in headlights. It was the first time I even mentioned the dude's name throughout all of this. The hamster wheel in her head started reeling in real time as she tried to explain away those pics. To that point she hadn't even known I saw them. That's little I use Facebook. When I actually do post something it's like an event of people, which is why the pics with Nina specifically got so much traction among our circles. And explain away she did. He's that way with everyone. He's just a really friendly guy. I can see how it looks, but there's nothing there. I'm sorry if those pics hurt you, I'll delete them. No, the pics aren't what hurt me. The year you've been effing the dude whilst lying to me that you're working extra hours and hanging with friends is what hurt me. But vengeance is a dish best served cold. From that night, she was being extra specially clingy and attentive to me, like, annoyingly so. She's tried to initiate affection and intimacy with me and I'd stonewall her at every chance. All the while, I'm still archiving everything she's saying to the guy. Mind you, by this point I'd long since gone numb. Any desire I might have had to save my marriage was dead. I'd checked out the day I enacted the first phase of my plan. She's confiding in him that I've gotten worse, that she doesn't know what to do, and she feels like I absolutely hate her. I do. Then comes the bombshell. She says she can't see him anymore. The guilt is too much for her, and she feels like karma is suffocating her.